I'm Mike Sullivan. So last week we made a video talking about how we're supposed to turn our shoulders and avoid lifting our arms back in our backswing. And we got a couple of questions about the tilt of our torso or the tilt of our spine as it pertains to our secondary spine tilt. So we're going to go ahead and review a little bit, talk again about what is a secondary spine tilt, and a little bit more clarification on how you should turn those shoulders to create a really good, efficient golf swing to help you play better golf. So in case you haven't met her before, this is Cookie. This is my dog, and she's around here all the time. A lot of times when I'm doing videos, she's sleeping behind me or something like that. You may not have even noticed her, but here she is, and she's chewing on one of these little, she loves these little like range mat teas, so she's chewing on that. Do you want this tea, huh? Cookie, sit. Yeah, good girl. Down. Sit. Speak. Come on. Speak. Speak. Good girl. All right, go get that. Go get it. All right. Sorry, now we're going to get to work. Okay, so here we go. We're talking about the secondary spine tilt. And I'm going to go ahead and answer a question that I got from one of our viewers last week. It's on the monitor behind here. So it's from Glenn. So Glenn, thanks very much for the comment. He says, my pro asks about the tilt of the spine too, and I get it. And in parentheses, though I find it hard to remember to do this during my setup. But when I watch slow motion swings by golf professionals, I don't see that tilt. Is this the difference between amateurs and pros, or am I not seeing it? And I guess that question is this the difference between amateurs and pros? Do pros notice it and amateurs don't? Well, let's take a look. So we're going to bring up Rory McIlroy up here on the screen, okay? And you'll notice how when Rory sets up here, you can see his right hand is lower on the club than his left, and he's tilting his spine a little bit. Okay, see that little spine tilt that he's got going on right there? Okay, and you're going to notice now when he makes a backswing, he's going to maintain that angle, that tilt of his spine on his backswing, and on his downswing, he's going to maintain it as well through impact. And then as he continues turning through, he comes up out of it. That's the tilt I think that your golf pro is talking about, Glenn. Okay? Conversely, what a lot of players will do, a lot of recreational golfers, is rather than, let's even go with they set up correctly. You know, your right hand or your backhand goes on the club lower than your front hand. So that should get your back shoulder lower than your front shoulder and should help you get that tilt. So let's just say you start out that way. Well, we want to maintain that tilt as we turn back. So it's going to look kind of here like that. So you can see I'm maintaining that tilt of my upper body. The problem people run into is they take this back hip, slide it backwards some. Now I may be exaggerating a little bit. A lot of times it looks more like this. I'll go ahead and hit a ball that way. All right, Cookie, get out of the way, girl. Go get that. Go get it. Go on. Go on. Go get it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my shot and watch my hip's going to slide back a little bit. And that was, that was okay. I didn't go after it, but it was solid and it was up the middle. But that type of a backswing is getting us in trouble. And we talked about it last time. That's going to give us out to in pulls and slices. It's also going to cause us to scoop and add lofted impact. So we want to make the turn like this. And what I want to talk about now going forward is a way to think about this to really, you can look at yourself in the mirror and do some drills. So I've got a monitor right here in front of the camera. And I'm going to set up, and I've got my back shoulder lower than my front, and I'm going to tilt my spine here a little bit. Okay? Now I'm going to imagine, I'm going to picture a rod going right through the top of my head, right through the center of my body and out into the ground. So I'm not thinking about my spine because my spine is just on my back. Okay? So I'm going to keep that rod positioned right through my body, and I'm going to turn my hips and shoulders without that rod moving. So I want my head to stay perfectly still as I do this. I'm going to look at myself here in the monitor. That's what I want to see right there. Okay? It's a little bit harder for me because my monitor is like mirror image. Or it's not mirror image, it's everything was opposite. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and look at myself from down the target line. Looking back in the mirror, right? Setting up. And now I've got that line going still right through the middle of my body, and it goes right through my torso, right out my backside and into the ground. And I want to try to turn, maintaining my torso right on that particular angle, as if that pole is right through the center of my body. Okay, and that's what I want it to look like. And so when I have the club in my hand, it's going to be out here looking about like this. Okay, so when I turn back, I want to be up here. Notice how now my hands are in a slightly different position than they were a second ago because they made a more active swing. Okay, so you can look at yourself in a mirror, have that imaginary rod going right through your body, make that backswing. Okay, then you can go ahead and look this way, have that imaginary rod going right through your body, make that backswing. Now on the way through, we're going to lose some of that, obviously. Okay, these are things you can work on. This is better to work on this in the house where you can see what you're doing and you don't even have to swing a club. The way to learn this the fastest, and we talked about it before, is to take out the arms out of play. So you're going to take your golf setup, and I recommend first putting the club out in front of you because people don't like to bend enough. Take your golf setup. You can see I've got my back shoulder lower than my front. Hello, Cookie, right? Put the club right up on my shoulders here. Turn back, and then turn through. I'm looking at myself the whole time right in that monitor, okay? Back here, take that setup. Same thing, I'm going to go ahead and lower that back shoulder, right? Look in the monitor there. Turn back. So see how I'm keeping my shoulders are now pretty much 90 degrees relative to that line through the middle of my body, and turn through, okay? Boy, I really hope you find that helpful. I know I'm not hitting balls, showing how this is all going to work with hitting balls, but if you look at the way that we have the ability to turn and rotate our body, boy, if we get those shoulders and those hips moving, we can then let our arms be levers that are being, swung really, really, really fast. The club head is moving fast. We're going to be able to hit the ball just so much more solidly. It's going to be, believe it or not, a lot easier to hit the ball solid, and it's going to be a lot easier to control the ball to create that nice little draw that everybody wants with every club throughout their bag. So again, practice this at home, do it in front of a mirror, do it in front of a picture window, bring up this video as an example of what you want to do. Go ahead and pull up pictures of tour players like Rory McIlroy, Adam Scott, guys like that, and those things are all over YouTube, all over the internet, and really work on having that nice, correct turn here. This is that secondary spine tilt we're maintaining, as opposed to letting that back hip slide back. That'll get you into trouble every time.